Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomenradio. I'm Amy. The Orange County Jail in Florida officially bid farewell to what I'm sure was their most trying and narcissistic inmate yet, Sarah Boone. She's off to her new forever home in the Florida prison system, and they're throwing her a bon voyage party, I'm sure, to celebrate. Will she survive in prison? Will she become the queen bee of the yard? Who knows? But we have a special guest tonight who can shed some light on what Sarah's future holds. Lindsay Villandry spent a year or so in the same prison Sarah is headed to. So she's here to give us the inside scoop. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out. Lindsay Villandry, I'm sure I'm saying it right. And she she's walking the same shoes as Sarah Boone, but only she got out. And Sarah Boone is there for life. And in Florida, life is life. But let me show you who we're about to bring on, a little introduction, if you will.
Bottoms did you have, and you decided you had enough?
Yeah, I was 23 when I went to prison, and it had just accumulated over not even that many years. And it was like one big rock bottom, I guess. It was like when I thought that it was rock bottom, it got worse. And I reached another rock bottom, and I was like, oh my God. But I thought prison was for sure it. It was, but it wasn't. It was almost it. And I thought if I just go a year without doing anything, then when I get out, I'll be good. Well, when I got out, I lasted maybe a week or two. And then I started doing things again, thinking I could go back to that low tolerance of whatever substance, alcohol and whatnot. It crept back up so quick. And then it was a few months later, I got arrested again and I was in jail. And that was pretty much it. My parents were done with me and I started using again. And one day I remember being outside in the garage. I was like, I have my phone. I'm trying to call someone to come, bring me something, or I can go to them. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can't get a hold of them. And I'm like, all I do is try to get messed up. I get messed up and I recover from getting messed up. And then I try to keep doing it and keep doing it. It's never enough.
Wondered what maximum security prison is really like? Fret no more. Lindsay's here to tell you guys the scoop.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Please welcome Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. Alicia, thank you so much for gifting 20 Parawomenradio Dragonfly memberships. It's really, really appreciated. Your support means a lot. And thank you for the supers on the last video I did. Welcome to everybody. We don't have any mods in chat tonight yet, so I'm just trying to do both. And so I apologize if I mess up. Okay, so Lindsay, I'm okay, and I'm really, really happy to have you here. Why don't we start talking about you first, and then we'll start going into talking about the two cases, the Sarah Boone and the Gypsy Rose. But why don't we hear a little bit about you and what brought you to prison, to the point where you went to prison?
Gotcha. So my name's Lindsay Villandry. I am a drug and alcohol counselor in Florida, and I was not always a drug and alcohol counselor. It took me many years to get licensed and recover myself from my own addiction that mostly occurred between the ages of 18 and 23 when I went to prison. All of my arrests, 10 or 11 arrests, I don't even know how many charges I have officially, were all in that short span because I was drinking and using. And every time I drink, I mean, it's almost an exaggeration, but but not really, to say that almost that every time I drank, something happened that wasn't good, to where I got myself in some kind of trouble, because I'm a blackout drunk, and I was from the first time I drank, and I always was, and I wouldn't stop unless I was physically stopped on these benders, and I ended up, the charges that began this trip to prison were my original charges of 2 battery on law enforcement officers, resisting arrest with violence, and I think a simple battery, and something intoxication. I think those were the ones. And I woke up in jail. I found out why I was arrested. I had no idea, but I see these felonies. I go, oh no, these are felonies. This is not good. I got on probation for 3 years. I violated more times for battery charges, for being drunk, blacked out, and having aggression. I'm a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and I become very different, like a different person, and I can't control it. It's very insane. So the best bet for me is to stay away from all drugs and alcohol because I just don't want to ever feel out of control again. It's very scary. So yeah, I got arrested for those, got put on probation. And like I said, I stayed in jail for months and months, about 3 times in there for months, waiting for court dates. They let me back out, and I violated again. And finally they said, all right, my lawyer told me, he's like, we're good. You're going home. You have 6 months in on this one charge, or on these charges, and you should be fine. And then I go in front of the judge, and he says, I have to sentence you to the guideline minimum of 12.6 months. And I said, what? Because 11 months, 29 days, you stay and do your time in jail. Anything over that, a year plus, you have to take the ride to prison. So despite only having a few more months to do, because with gain time, you don't do the full 12.6 months. I think I did like 11 months or something. You get days off every month for working, and it's called gain time. And so if you're good, and if you're in prison and you're good and you work like you're supposed to, you get those 5 days off a month. And so, yeah, it's a different experience in there.
So it was quite a shock that that's where you would be going for the next 11 months of your life. Were you prepared? You weren't prepared at all. You didn't
No.
think at all. Wow.
I just started crying on the stand, and I was like, and he was a very nice judge. I made amends since, and I did write him a letter, and he's since retired, but I thanked him for sending me to prison because, you know, that brought me to my bottom, and I don't know what else would have happened if I hadn't been brought to dry out like that and really be able to have my mind free for that year. You know, I did use after because I didn't understand addiction at the time until I went to treatment, and how it works. And so then I was able to learn how to be sober and stay sober. But, you know, and I've relapsed in there over the years and learned more. But one thing's for certain, I still have my journal from being in prison, and it is just insane. It's very different than jail. So I was at Lowell Correctional Institution, right there, that one in Ocala, Florida. And it is so much different than jail. It's, you work every day, so you get assigned a job. You go to R&O, which is reception orientation. Everybody does when they first get to prison, and then they get sent off to different prisons, or you stay there. I stayed there in maximum security because I'm a violent offender. So
that's maximum security prison.
Yeah. So Lowell Correctional Institution has 2 sides to it. It's called the main and the annex. The annex is for maximum security, and it's all, if you Google it, you can see it's 6 yards. There's life is over there. I mean, not life, death row. Opposite. Death row is over there. They shut down the whole prison to have a death row inmate come out in shackles and tons of guards. It's crazy.
They have to by law, don't they?
I think so. Yeah. And there's nobody allowed in their cell. It's sad, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's 1 or 2 in there But
So there's some female death row inmates. I didn't know that
yeah,
in Florida. In Florida, I
yeah,
didn't
there's
know.
one or two. I don't remember how many are in there. Yeah. But yeah, and
So
I saw him come out.
I've heard that when you go to the facilities, when you're in the transport, that's when you're the most dangerous. You're in the most danger because there's nobody, like there's so much coming and going. Is that true? Is that when Sarah's going to be in the most danger of being harmed?
You mean being harmed by just
Another
anyone in general?
inmate or anybody?
Uh,
Do female inmates have to worry as much about being harmed as male inmates do?
I think so. I mean, I've heard that women fight a lot worse than people realize. And they have a hard time coexisting with each other. The men kind of gang up in gangs, and women don't do that. They fight nasty, and I mean they gang up in cliques, but it's different. The men
Don't they
kind of
fight dirty? Like they will
yeah.
like cut your hair off or do
Yeah.
something that will really hurt you, opposed to like physically harming you. They'll do something that will hurt you.
I think so. A lot of times though, see this, so there's where I was on the annex is a lot of lifer people like that are never getting out, like this Sarah Boone. She'll be over there, probably right where I was. I had a 2-man cell eventually when I got moved, and I was in there with someone 40 years. I don't know what she did. They're very particular. You don't mess with them. You don't tell them that you have a little bit of time. They will mess with you. They're not playing around because they're so set in their ways. This is their home. So I'm like an outsider. So to these people that have like life, like I'm coming in and leaving and they're to stay. So you have to respect them. It's kind of like unwritten. Like you have to respect them, and they will hurt you, and they don't care.
Yeah, I mean they have life. What do they have to lose, really? I mean, I guess you could be
Yeah.
moved over to death, but I mean,
I think a lot of people don't even care at that point, like if they go in the shoe or they psych out, because they're just it just seemed like a lot of girls would just psych out all of a sudden, and like they would just like put their hands behind their back and scream, and then they'd go to like the psych unit. And a lot of people, it's like when they were in danger of getting hurt, like in a fight or something, or or they were just having like a mental breakdown. Like I've seen women just like seriously not be able to take it and need to like literally psych out and go there. And and it's worse to be isolated, but I don't know. It seems like a bad idea, but if you're in danger, I imagine that's this woman. I just watched a bit about her, and it seems like she would be the type to try to get followers and be manipulative and be like the head dog. I don't know. She just seems very bullyish. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Isn't
feel
that how
like
she was?
eventually I could see her running the prison yard. I feel like Sarah's going to be in her element. Like she talked her
You
way
do?
into life, and so she's going to make the best of it. She is definitely well, I just have my BA in social psych, and I can't diagnose people, but she appears to me to have some borderline personality, narcissistic tendencies that are very unchecked and just off the chart out there. And could you walk us through like what her first day in prison would look like?
For sure. So it's really scary to say the least. It's very nerve-wracking because when you leave, you don't know what week you're leaving, because it's a threat. You could be trying to escape, anything. So they don't tell you when you're leaving until it's like one day a week on a certain day, and they'll say like your name and number and like roll it up. So that means get your stuff, you're going. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. And you have to wait in cells for hours, get chained up, your legs, everything, you're chained up to your waist, chained up to each other. And you go in like a dog catcher van where it's all metal, and it's 3 hours there. I'm an hour and a half from where Sarah Boone is in jail right now. So she's in Orlando, Orange County. I'm in Pinellas, Clearwater, Tampa area. So we're about an hour and a half apart. So she'll probably like a couple hours away. And, you know, it was very uncomfortable. You're shackled with everybody the whole time in there and you're freezing and you can't move. And you don't know what to expect. And then when we get there, they're already yelling at you to get out. And the women guards are nasty. They're always yelling at you, calling you names, cussing at you. I can't even say in here what they would call you, you know, just different names to just make you feel horrible. And the when you get off the bus or the van, whatever it is, I guess it's like a van. There was only like 10 of us in my transport, but the woman made us line up and we had to do all the searches, the bend over and cough, all that crazy stuff. And you're naked and it's like very uncomfortable. And you got to put the shampoo in your hair and wash it out. And then they give you like a grandma dress. It's called a muumuu until you get your outfits. It's so strange. It's very weird. And it takes hours to get booked in because you got to get your picture taken. It's like a whole new thing. You're in Department of Corrections now. You know, you're not in jail anymore. So it's different. And you get.
Are you getting undressed in front of tons and tons of people?
Yeah.
At this point? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no privacy. It's like if you're shy, like you're in big trouble. Like they don't care. They're very nasty and they're yelling at you to hurry up and like do this. Like, and they don't care. They're nasty. Yeah. Like, she's not anybody that has like an attitude. You can do that in jail and get away with it. But in prison, their guards aren't going to play. They're going to put you in your place.
She's not high profile anymore either, per se. So I think she's in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I feel like she would be viewed as a target almost. I'm not sure, but it seems like because she was an alleged abuser, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she beat him. She beat his little fingers with a bat so he couldn't get him out of the suitcase. She beat the suitcase with a bat. She pushed it down the stairs.
Yeah, I feel like the women would frown upon doing that sort of thing. You know, I don't know for sure.
She's an abuser. She's taken on the stance that she's the abused one.
Right.
She was just fighting back, of course.
I think that those women are so savvy. They're not going to play around with her. So if she's going to go in there and try to play games, they're going to put her in her place. Like they're not going to mess around with that. You know,
I think she might be smart enough to hang low for a while until she can like make her rise to the top. I think she seems like she's the type that can play the game. I don't know.
think so. I think they might ostracize her because of her charges. I don't know. Because they look up, they know everybody's charges. They already know she's coming. Like whoever's there, they know like anybody with a profile, everybody's talking about him. Anybody that's been in the news, anybody that's been on a show, they're already talking about them. Like, and they know like, hey, they're going to be here this week or next week. They find out from people on the outside. They find out everyone's charges. So if you are someone that's done something that they don't like, they know like quickly. They'll have their friends look you up to see what you're there for.
Do they do this type of thing? We covered the Chris Watts case, and people have said like they are forcing Chris Watts to keep his story alive in the press so that he will continue to get money from people because they're blackmailing them. Do they do that type of thing to female prisoners? Will they force her to pay them money for protection and stuff like that?
I feel like it's a possibility. There are a lot of women bullies. I mean, a lot of them, like the majority of them, people with time, they are bullies. And that's how you have to get by. So, you know, fortunately, nobody messed with me the whole time. They were quite nice to me, actually, the lifers. And so I was fine. You know, I was the youngest one, too, over there, because usually they're in a youthful offender program, but the age limit is 23. So I got lucky. I got put over there in normal population and with the adults, because the youthful offenders, they just fight and they're in like boot camp and they just fight each other and it's drama and like it's drama. It's like high school in prison. Everybody's dating, like their girlfriends and wives, they call each other, and it's a whole thing. And if you it's like drama, like, so people in the yard are talking about other people just like as if that's their community, or like they're in high school, or like, it's strange. I thought it was strange because I'm not there the rest of my life, but those people, that's their reality, that's all. So
what is the sleeping arrangements like? Is it like a dorm style, or is it like cells?
So in reception and orientation, it's open bay dorm with like 70 women on one, and next to it is another 70 women, and there's one guard in the middle for all those people. So you're not really watched. So I mean, anything can happen. More so over here in maximum security than over in the main unit. And I only got to go over there once or twice to go see the doctor or something. Whatever you have to do in the first week, you have to go over there. And it's like a big security check to go over there because it's lower security.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's like, it's crazy.
I want to take a quick break and say above beyond in it said thank you for the $4.99, and she says hi Lindsay.
Hi.
And also I see one of my mods in here, but I think they've changed their name, so I'm not really sure which mod this is.
That's my mod.
Oh, that's your mod.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So are you streaming to your channel?
Yeah, I hooked it up.
Because I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I did it the last minute.
Okay, awesome. All right. So and if you could just give this live a thumbs up. We're coming to you from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram tonight. So hi everyone, whichever platform you're on, if you could just hit that like, thumbs up, hearts, stars, coffee, I don't know. On each platform it's different. If you could just help us dance out into the algorithm, it's just a free way to help us out. Okay, so going back to Sarah Boone, how do you think Sarah's gonna fare in prison opposed to jail? Do you think she's gonna like jail more than she likes prison, or is prison gonna be more freedom for her?
You have more freedom in prison, but in jail you can have, it's more like you're able to play more games and stuff, and have women that will kind of be their followers, as like some of these women, they get like a cult like following. That's kind of like what they'll do and whoever, they go against each other, and that's how they do it. And so it's like important that you have people that they just do whatever for them. And I think it's easier to do that in a jail as opposed to a prison, because those people in prison, like I said, they're there for a long time and they're not messing around. And they're not going to make any alliances with people that they think are risky. They're not going to, they just don't mess around, and they are not going to include anybody that's going to be any kind of risk or danger to them, like any liability. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I saw a video Jumpsuit Pablo did where he was kind of making fun of, because the only people that really spoke at Sarah's trial for her were ex-inmates that she met in jail. Like all of her family's passed away just about, or in prison. She has one brother and he didn't show up. And then the only people that showed up and spoke for her were inmates, ex-inmates, and this one person that she met that needs a kidney or something, sick people that are writing to her. Yeah. So she's already taking advantage of people.
Yeah. It seems like the appropriate, like what she would do, like for what she seems like, just from the little bit I watched her, it seems like she would be the type to try to manipulate others.
I
you know,
mean, what else can she do? I mean, if you're all alone in the world,
that's
I
it.
mean, you have to have money, right? Because she can start doing canteen and
Mhm.
food, and right?
Yeah.
And you have to buy everything, don't you, in prison? Like nothing, like
No,
not
the
even.
food's really good. The meals are really good. I
Oh,
gained
they
like,
are.
yeah, it's different.
Oh.
In jail, it's terrible. Prison food is awesome. I gained like 50 pounds.
Oh,
Yeah. Like I ate so much.
is it the food that they serve you, or the food that you buy?
They serve it to you. It's
Oh.
good. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes me wow.
It's interesting. So the inmates, their job is to work in the kitchen and they make the food.
Oh,
And you have to eat really fast. It's you have to like file in, eat really fast. You cannot talk, and you have to like no nonsense, just like hurry up, and you have like 5 minutes, and you
is
gotta
it a
go.
cafeteria style, or do
Yeah.
you eat in the? Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
go
but you have to
somewhere.
like file in, and it's like really orchestrated. It's serious. It's strange.
So it's nothing like the Orange is the New Black, where they're sitting in the cafeteria talking for hours on it, talk about their
No,
life.
it is a lot like Orange is the New Black in the way that, you know, the silly things that would happen in there are very real. The things that you think would be silly, they're normal there. Like when they're hiding the sausages in their boobs, like that's real. Like everybody does that. I didn't do that because it's disgusting. And you're not allowed to take food from the cafeteria to your bunk. It's called stealing. They call it stealing. And my friend did that. She put hot dogs in her pocket, and I was like, no.
Oh,
She got in trouble, and they were yelling at her and made her stand on the fence for like an hour.
stand on the fence for taking.
Stand at the fence like you're in timeout.
Oh,
Yeah, they just humiliate you.
that's degrading.
Oh, it's really bad, and they just yell at you and call you names and stuff. And so, yeah, it's like you don't want to mess up. Like it's uncomfortable. And then if you go to jail while you're in jail or while you're in prison, you're going to be all alone too. And they're going to treat you terrible over there. The shoe, you know, it's, they're in there for a little while. A lot of them, they get in trouble because they have nowhere else to send them, you know?
They were a bit looser in jail about food time. What does that mean?
Oh yeah. Because in jail, it's almost like, not, I don't want to say like kiddie time, but like it's more like you get comfortable quicker, and you're able to get away with more things there. Like, you know, you have your meals there and can take however long, and nobody cares. And usually, at least in my experience of all the times I've been, it was pretty loose. You save your food. It gets thrown out like when they do searches, but the guards get comfortable with you and are usually pretty cool. For the most part, they were always cool with me, and you get to know them, and they just want to get by and get their job done. But at the other place, it's very different, and they're it's like the country there, like Ocala is like country. I don't know how, it's not the city, so the people all have accents, and they're like nasty yelling.
I actually have moved to Florida, and I'm not in Ocala, but I think Ocala is like one of the cities around me, and I have seen people being strongly made fun of being like interbreeding and stuff like that in Ocala. Yeah, it's supposed, and Homosassa is supposed to be even worse.
Really?
So, and
I didn't realize. I was like, what? It was almost like Southern accents, like a different state. You know?
Yeah, it's like really bad. Like there was a whole article I read about it, and like the inbreeding and stuff. It's bad, but it's interesting. The prison doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty new, although the article that I found on it looks pretty horrible.
It's bad. It's notorious for bad things happening there, like for bad conditions.
Yeah. This one was like the water. They just let you keep drinking the water, and it was bad.
Yeah. There's been a lot of like bad stuff with like, you know, the guards are hooking up with the women too. They don't talk about that. That's happening because they're men too.
The guards.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep I mean, that's not like a profession very many people are wanting these days.
I don't think so. I think they're like in and out, you know, like a high turnaround rate.
So if she stays there, it won't. If they move her on to somewhere else, where would be a place that she would go?
She'd probably be in one of those 6 dorms. Like I got moved to one of the 2-man cells, like with women. Like a couple of them had been on different TV shows, and that's how I knew them. And they were like long timers or lifers. And so that was very surreal. But that was
that was one of my questions. Did you know any famous inmates?
Yeah, Rachel Wade was there. This other girl, I can't remember her name, but she has like a crooked eye. She ended up, I think she got death. No, maybe she got life without parole, which is just life there. But I don't know if she got that or the death row. Her and like a group of people, like a family, I don't want to be graphic, but they killed and burnt this young guy, a ex-boyfriend or something of one of the girls. And they all got caught. Like they put it in like some kind of buckets, like paint buckets or something. I don't remember what she said. I met her and she was very happy to be there. And it was strange.
There's actually quite a few women on death row.
Oh, there's more than I thought. Yeah, I know one of them on there. Let me see which.
Wow, there's a lot.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Well, it was 2000.
Only 2 have been executed in Florida, though. Only 2 women.
Yeah. It was 2012 that I was there. So it's been quite some time, but
Carla.
Let me see.
She, I think, is a popular one. I'm not sure.
I
don't.
Because I didn't know before going in. So I thought there was this young girl. She must have gotten taken off of death row. I don't know. Yeah, it's the amount of women that are in there for life, period, is astounding. It's crazy. Like it's a reality check. It's like this is real life. Like there's consequences, and I didn't know what real life was and real consequences until I went there.
It's terrifying that you could do one thing in your life and accidentally. Okay, before we get started, if we could start that algorithm dance party that I like to do, just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button. Helps us dance out into the algorithm party out there, meet more interesting people, and bring them back to our party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's really, really appreciated. And if you want to do a little extra, you can subscribe, and that's so easy to do. Just click that button, and if you don't like us, you can unsubscribe. That we did actually do one thing in your life and accidentally. I mean, even like when you're not like purposely setting out to saying like I'm going to unalive this person, like it's not an accident that you drive drunk, but if you drive drunk and you unalive somebody, you could be somewhere for life, for the rest of your life, for that one decision.
Yeah,
it's just amazing to me.
I met maybe 10 women that had that charge. One of them I got close to. I found out she since died, but the max is like 20 years or something. I don't know, but some of them have it run concurrent, and a couple of the women don't believe that they did it. Some of them killed their friends. Other one killed. I shouldn't say that word. I don't want to get you bopped on.
It's okay. It's okay. You can say it a few times.
Did it with just strangers by accident, and they were traumatized, as I'd imagine, but some were in denial with a lot of time.
How do you deny that you drove drunk?
They don't remember, I think. I don't know. There was 2 of them like that I talked to, that they were very mad about having been there. And they were like, I don't know how this didn't happen. Like, I really believe that they believe that. Like, I think that they were blacked out and don't believe it. I don't know. One of them like pushed someone off their car, like pushed someone else off the bridge. And she was like, I don't I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I would almost think it would be a blessing not to remember it, because that would be
Probably.
just a horrible thing that you would relive in your mind over and over again.
I would imagine. I got close with a girl that she came over there with me, and she had 5 years, and then they gave her probation for the rest of the time, which was like 10 years or something. And she violated using, and they gave her the rest of her time. And so she had to come do it for a drug test that she failed. And she was sad about it. It was her best friend that she you know,
Wow.
yeah, and they have no idea. Like, it's just that's something that I was always scared of, but it didn't stop me from drinking, you know, which is unfortunate, but that's the reality of addiction. You know, it's terrible. It's extremely powerful. So, you know, a lot of these women in there have addiction issues. Most of them, that's how their crime occurred.
Is it easy to get substances in there?
Yes. It's very easy. A lot of people, you know, have a difficult time staying sober in there.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Sarah has addiction issues, definitely alcohol issues. Do they make alcohol in there?
Yes, but I think it's more common for other things, you know? So it's easier to get them around, it seems like.
Thank you, James. That's very kind of you to say that. I feel like Sarah will do substances in there. I just feel like she will. I mean, I don't know. Like, if I had life, I don't know if I think I would, at least in the beginning, I think I would do the substances just to get through it. And then once you get your bearing, then be like, okay, maybe I can do something in this world through here, but I don't know.
Right, because I just feel like it would be so depressing. I don't know how that is so traumatic.
She could be doing 14 years. She could be doing 14 years, and she's doing.
Yeah, how did that happen? So was she given that as a plea deal and refused it and took it to trial?
Yes, okay. She was just a heinous person, and she was on like lawyer number 9. She wrote this handwritten thing because she was writing letter after letter to the court. Just these handwritten long ass letters. She did this ad for a lawyer because the judge was like, after the 8th or 9th lawyer, he's like, nope, you're done. You're done. You're done. You're on your own, lady. And she was like, what? I can't do this on my own. And so she wrote this letter, and this lawyer responded. He didn't give him any extra time. And yeah, she was just a holy terror in court. She wanted a makeup crew. She wanted snacks. She was something.
Oh, I don't know. They're gonna put her in place. I would think that they're gonna be like, "Oh no, honey, no, that is not happening. You don't get special treatment."
Her letter to the court, like, you know, her final statement was just like a big "fuck you."
I heard it. I was amazed. I listened to it at work during my break the other day, and I was like, "Wow, that is." I was astounded. I just couldn't believe that the amount of like manipulation that you would think would occur to be able to write that and include like your whole story, like defense.
I know.
Was a defense of what really happened in your thing.
Couldn't get the lawyer to say, yeah. Well, and then the lawyer, you know, comes in and he gets her this 14-year plea deal, and he was, I mean, amazing. They were probably like,
that happened.
Well, I don't know. I think they were so sick of her. It was 5 years in. He comes in, he's annoying too, and they're like, okay, 14 years, and she's like, nope, I want my day in court. I was like, yes.
She would have been so lucky to get that time.
I know.
Very lucky. I can't believe
she would have only been doing like 7 years, 8 years, and would have been out because she was already in there for 5 years.
Yeah, it would have been quick.
And so I would think like
and
after I came out of that drug induced stupor, I would just hate myself. I would be like, what did I do? What did I do for my 15 minutes of fame? Ugh.
Unless you have a severe personality disorder in
Yeah.
which there's none of that.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
no
putting rational thought
self-reflection.
into it. That's
You
true.
know what I mean? It seems like someone that would do such a thing and have that sort of attitude years later and in trial might have something going on that they seriously have trouble with, with their personality.
Yeah. So what is like, okay, so I was reading an article today about Sarah Boone and the visitation process, and that like nobody under the age of, I think it's 18 can visit. So her son will never be able to visit her until he's of age. What is the visitation like? Is it like face to face? Is it?
Yep. So like they've had like if they're a lot of them get interviewed and stuff, and so they'll sometimes they'll let them be in front of the like together, but other times there's that glass in front of them, so they'll travel all the way there and they'll still have to have glass in front of them. It's
so she's not going to be able to touch her son.
I mean, I would think if she's where I was, then no, probably not. But how old is her son?
I mean, not that she uses her son as a crutch, and she wasn't a good mom anyway, but I mean, it's sad. It is sad that she can't touch her child.
Yeah. I mean, it's a horribly sad thing to be in there. It's very depressing. Just a lot of sad stories and people that, they're mentally ill, some of them, and with addiction issues. And then some are it's just like their way. It's just normal to them. I don't know how to explain it.
James Smith says, I'm a retired nurse that volunteers with the addicted community on Vancouver Island, BC. The high from helping people is the best. And I always say that, James. I was a substance abuse counselor, and I always said that I felt like when I was working with people with substance abuse issues, I was touching God, because you all had touched hell and you were clawing your way back. And it was like powerful stuff. When it worked, it was powerful.
It's the only profession that I seriously want to be in. I'm very fortunate that I get to work with others that have been close to where I was at, if not exactly there, and
it's perfect. It's perfect for you because you know exactly what they've gone through. You know what they're feeling. You know what they're thinking.
Yeah. And I'm continuing to go to school so I can become a therapist, but I'm in operations now, to where I'm overseeing everything in the rehab. And I really like the business side of it, more than just being a counselor and working one-on-one with the client. So I get to help the counselors now.
That's good.
Yeah, I like it.
I like doing the intakes. I was an intake person, and I worked with the women and children. But I just liked like what I'm doing now. I interviewed them, and then I got their information, and then I moved them along, and I like doing that.
Yeah, so I overlook every department, and like it's kind of like seeing the big picture of how everything runs. So kind of having I don't want to say micromanaging, but it kind of you're putting out fires all day, it seems like. And so I get to do that under another woman that is, I just started working here again, and I worked here years ago in a different position, but I've worked every position at a treatment center, fortunately, and got to learn all the different sides, and it is wild. There's a lot to it. It's crazy, but it is the best. It's the best feeling. There's nothing like it, especially when you're feeling down, to see someone else hear the message and you see the light go off in them and they're getting it, and you see the change, and it's like, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
The success rate, everyone says it's very low. I've seen a high success rate in different places, different areas, with different things. It's not always like that jaded feeling. Like certain times I would have a lot of bad things happen to, in a row, or like relapses and stuff, but it kind of wears on you. But it puts it into perspective when you see those ones getting it and you're like, this isn't for nothing, you know. It makes it all worth it.
Yeah, it does.
It feels
It
good.
really does.
Yeah.
And then later in life, I've had where it's been confirmed that what I did helped somebody, and that's an even better feeling to know, like that later, like 10, 15 years down the road, like they made it. So,
yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to be able to have those success stories too.
I still see some of them. You're allowed to be friends with them like on social media 2 years after officially. It's probably best practice not to, but when I worked at my first treatment center, I did. And because I was working.
If they are gone for 2 years and sober, you can,
technically. Yeah. So I don't like doing that, but I did from the beginning, like, 10 years ago when I started working in the field. I have people I see now, like, and they're doing spectacular. It's cool. It's really cool.
I lived in a small town, so like you kind of like can't avoid that. That stuff happens. You run into people all over the place. And I would always forget, it got to the point where I'd be like, I know them from somewhere, but I don't want to say anything because it could have been one of my clients. So I just smile.
Aw.
Hey there.
Yeah. I've had that happen.
Okay. So when Sarah Boone, let's get back to Sarah Boone. I only have a few more questions for Sarah Boone, and then we'll quickly go over to Gypsy Rose. So, wait, you said you were in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have tablets then? Because I've read that she's been going to be given a tablet to communicate. How did you communicate with people?
To communicate, like for legal, or
no, like for friends, family. Because they didn't have that. No tablets.
No.
What did you do? Did you just write letters and talk on the phone?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was there any of the phone, the video phone chats or no?
No, that's more in jail. I had those in jail. But no, because you have to travel and be there in person, and then you still have to have the glass there. But they have tablets now. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's fortunate to be able to have that.
Yeah, they said that they have tablets, but you have to buy the apps, you have to buy the words to send, to people. So it's like just a tablet, but you can't do anything unless you buy stuff.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, no, they didn't have anything. It was the phones and it's expensive. And we had radios. Good old fashioned radio.
Oh, radios.
Like a little Walkman radio. Yep.
Do you have TVs?
Yeah, but only a couple.
And they're expensive?
Oh, not personal ones. No.
Oh, no personal TVs?
Only in RNO, there's like one small TV for like all those women. Yeah. Yeah. It's really harsh. Like it's like not fun.
It doesn't sound like fun at all. It sounds miserable, actually.
Yeah.
So restrictive. Will she have a job, do you think?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
How do you get a job in prison?
They just randomly assign you to a different job, like the kitchen. I had to clean the dorm for a reception orientation. And then that was my job because I only had a short amount of time there. So they didn't want to like put me there. But they had a hair school there. Oh. And then a lot of people work in laundry, and that's tough. But a lot of people, they get to go to the hair school and actually get certified. It's pretty cool.
What's the point though? Why go to hair school if you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life?
Some of them will have like, just a few years to do. A lot of them have like 20 years.
But if you're in prison for life, are you offered those type of classes? Mm-hmm. Will you be able to do the hair school stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Not on death row. They don't get to do anything, but yeah, they get to do that. There's also, they make the clothes. There's like I forget if it's like, how do you get into that? I wasn't really sure.
Where?
They make the clothes. They learn how to sew and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah,
So you don't get to choose. They just say, hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go clean toilets. And you're like, okay.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not air conditioned, right?
I don't see, this is what I've heard. The main is not air conditioning, but I swear that I remember ours being air conditioned.
Oh,
So
really?
that's what I cannot remember though.
I remember watching Christina Randall, who she went to the Florida prison, and she said that she would have to sleep with a sheet over her because the flies would come in and land on her.
That's over on the main. So I think that we had air conditioning in ours. I'm pretty sure, but I was there when it was like colder, like this time of year.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was freezing, like marching in the morning. Yeah. It wasn't fun.
She's probably really cold right now because it's cold right now.
Yeah, it's not fun. And like, you know, you have to have certain uniforms and they have to be like looking nice and you can't have them untucked and you can't like be messy like in jail. Like they won't allow it. It's serious. And you have to make your bed and you get like, you can't mess around like jail. Like jail, you don't have to do anything. You just can be lazy and throw food or do whatever you want, but not in prison. They won't let you. Like
Can you wear anything other than the uniform in prison, or is that what you have to wear?
You get the muumuu dresses, but that's kind of like a lot of them wear them to sleep. But I had seen some girls wear them during the day, but they're really ugly. It's like really terrible.
Because I remember Christina saying that she bought a dress like made out of t-shirt or something.
Oh, maybe they have those now. They didn't.
Somebody made it for her and she bought it and she was able to wear it. I was just
buy different stuff. Oh, you can buy you can buy like boxers and all that stuff and shoes and stuff like that. Yeah. You have to order them. Yeah. But maybe they had the dress. I just never ordered much.
Is the canteen better in prison than it is in jail?
Yeah. Yeah. So you can like go out there and get a soda and cheeseburgers and whatever. And they make them. I would do it like every day. Literally every day. And I was like eating cheeseburgers.
Oh,
funny. Yeah.
What else is there to do though? I mean, do you get much exercise, free time or anything?
Yeah, actually you do get you get some good amount of time outside. Just in the yard and they're just talking and messing around and passing notes, little love notes and stuff with each other. It's a serious thing. It's serious.
It sounds like it's very serious.
Oh, it is. And them and their relationships and the letters and they fight over each other and it's wild. I just can't even explain it. It's amazing.
So when with the sexuality, does everyone just hang out with each other or is it divided? Like the people that are like more with the women, they stay with the women, and the people that are heterosexual?
No, they're all mixed, but most of the women do go with other women.
Most of them do.
It's like almost all of them.
Gay for the stay type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like almost like most of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will fight over what was called studs. And studs were like they would look like men. But it's not like they were trying to be men. They just were boyish, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it.
I know what you're talking about because I watched Marcy Marie and she actually married her prison.
Really?
Yeah. And I think she was a stud. It's just
you
a more
can tell,
looking woman.
Yeah. And they walk like a guy and talk like it's like the girls really fight over them. It's insane. It's like a whole different world. Like I'd never seen anything like it. And I was like, what's this? What is a stud? I like didn't know any of this stuff. You know?
On her first day there, I remember Christina's talking about how like the walk in where everyone's yelling at you. Does that not really happen?
Yes. It is terrible. It's like the worst part. So like after you're like tortured all day with like getting, naked and doing all that stuff, they give you your stuff and they're like, come on, it's like afternoon by then. And you're like just exhausted because you haven't slept. And, and they, you have to walk and everybody's yelling at you. Like they wait every day to do this with the new people.
Every day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a thing. It's just, they just want to yell at you and they do. And it's like, okay, you better be ready. Like, this is it. like this is real life. And it's like very disturbing and like a reality check.
They can just yell. They can't throw things, right? It's just yelling. No. Yeah.
I mean, like maybe. If no one sees them.
Maybe. James wants to know, what was your favorite cell entree?
We had cake like every day.
Oh, I love cake.
Legit. We had cake. Yeah. Walk in the line. Yeah. I mean, there you literally had to walk on a line everywhere in the prison. Hi. Yeah, and
the prison cell, the way that did you cook in your cell?
Yeah, I did that too. I would make like big tater tots. Like just you take like oh my God, I was thinking I was gonna do this one day when I get bored. I was like, I want to make a video on YouTube showing people how to make it with ramen and all the weird food I made, like mackerel pizza. It's like so. It's like mackerel? It doesn't taste the same. Yeah.
Is that like, mackerel is in fish? Mackerel?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's in like a cheesy pizza. It's like so good when you're in jail, and then it doesn't taste the same on the outside in real life. Well, it's all real life. But
sounds keto though.
It's something. I would have chili a lot. It was really good, and I would mix mayonnaise in it. It's so good. And I tried to get it after prison, and you can't buy it anywhere. I was really upset.
Did your taste buds change in prison at all, do you think?
Yeah. I like food is like amazing that I would never like, you have to really adjust to it. Cause like, but after jail, you're already adjusted. Cause like you have to eat, So once I got past like weeks of being there through medical and detoxing and everything, and then you want to eat again, and then you just eat everything. Because
did they give you anything for detox, or did they just let you
go? They have to legally for alcohol and benzodiazepine withdrawal anywhere, because you can seize out and die technically. But everything else, nah. You're other hard stuff. No, you can't die. So I mean, you can die, but
you can,
not
you can.
Really. It's like,
but you usually don't.
Right.
More than likely,
they just know like
alcohol, you can't have seizures.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't mess around. So like they don't want to get sued. But there were seizures every day. Always someone having a seizure there. It was. I never had a seizure in my life, so I didn't really know. I was like scared, kind of. I don't know.
Did you ever fear for your life at all?
Not that I recall.
No.
I just was I'm just pretty easygoing, and I actually had a good time in there. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Because I was sober and I hadn't been sober in years, and like I was actually laughing and making friends.
And you knew you weren't gonna be there for life, like Sarah. Right. I wouldn't imagine,
Right. The girls, so I think this is something interesting that I noticed is so
she said she was there for 10 days, by the way, people, places, and perspectives.
What did she say?
They wanted to know how long were you in prison and jail?
Well, my sentence was 12.6 months for that stay. So I did half the amount in jail and half the amount in prison. But throughout the year, I had to do like a couple months here, get out, and then a couple months there, because I have no bond when I get arrested. I have to wait for court. So nobody could bond me out.
Oh.
So if I got arrested, I'm like, I'm not calling anybody, because I'm like, I'm stuck here for months.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no way to get out. There's no money amount. No bond. Yeah. That was not fun.
No, that doesn't sound like fun.
No.
So how long have you been officially out and on your path towards?
I was not put out on any probation luckily. So I did all of my time. And then after I got arrested, and I spent 30 days in jail on a misdemeanor with like $100 bond because people were done with me. Done. Nobody would answer the phone for me. My parents were like, nope. And that was the best thing they could have done, because then I was like, oh no, I'm going to have no one. I better stop this. And it was the best thing, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people say prison saved their life. So
yeah.
Were there programs for you in that prison?
I believe the youthful offenders have to do some kind of program. I believe there's a substance abuse program that I've since heard about. I'm not sure exactly. I believe there is, though. There's AA meetings and NA. They're not all the time, but someone, you know, brings them in, or from the outside, you know, a member of AA or NA. I would do that in jail, but not in prison. It was like they would just mess around in there, you know. It's just a way for them to hang out with each other. But I eventually like stayed sober in AA. But you know, I wasn't ready then. So I did it after I went to treatment. So, but yeah, I remember one time telling my mom, I hope I get arrested because I can't stop using again. Like, it's so hard to stop the opiates and stuff. Like, I was trapped. Like, I felt like I was trapped. And I couldn't stop on my own. And so it was like I would do anything to get them, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was like a prisoner of my own self. It's the scariest feeling. It's insane.
Well, I was prescribed opiates and for back surgery, and then I had a stroke, and I weaned myself off of them, and it was like the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Just the way it made me feel and the way that made my legs so restless. It was horrible.
Yep. Kicking. Yep.
I couldn't relax. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't stop my legs. It was horrible.
Yeah. You know, the stuff that's out there now that's in everything, I was doing that willingly. And so coming off of that was, it was the worst experience.
Well, because I was doing it willingly because I had the patch on me, and I was, you know, and then I was taking the pills, and I was in so much pain. I was talking to a doctor about putting a pain pump in my spine. It was just like, but it was like the pain pills were turning on me, and they were giving me rebound pain, and it was making it worse. So I just needed to stop it all. That's what saved my life.
Wow, good for you. Yeah, it's very difficult. A lot of people don't ever get off of it.
Yeah, no, I'm shocked that
on one hand, I can say that it helped me save my life, but it also was extremely traumatic, and I have PTSD from it still. I don't want to admit it, but it's the reality.
Yeah. How could you not?
Yeah, and it's gotten worse over the years with other PTSD, just, you know. And so there's a lot of stuff that I started doing in there that to this day I'm very like a fight or flight over.
Yeah, I saw you say something about like the way you sleep, like you would there was some woman that would wake you up every morning.
Yeah, like yelling. So like anytime that I hear anything, I like sit up immediately and like get ready to like get up, like jump up. It's like so bizarre because you had to be like have your bed made and be out of bed, and like you have to do it like so quick. And so I used to be one to just like sleep and like be in bed all the time. And like now I literally would like jump up. It's so insane.
That is insane. But yeah, that's definitely post-traumatic stress there.
Yeah. I don't like crowds of people now since, and it was like that immediately after I got out too. I couldn't go in crowds. Women are much worse than men, in my opinion. They had to separate them and work with the PD. Oh yeah. I was too. Yeah.
Yeah. Women fight different than men. I don't think, I mean, they use their hands, but women are we can think. We think it out. Mm-hmm. We play the long game, and we're good at it.
We use reputation a lot in our conniving, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and you know, you're different too, because like one, you didn't unalive your mom. but and two, you take complete responsibility for what you've done. That's
Mhm.
that's the whole step of like
True.
I don't think like forgiveness is like telling somebody, like telling a priest or even telling God that you want to be forgiven. Forgiveness is never doing it again, saying you're sorry, and then proven by your actions of not doing it again. That's
Mhm.
to me is what forgiveness is. That's how you earn it. And none of these women are doing anything to try to get forgiveness. They don't care.
Yeah, a lot of them seem okay with it. I don't understand. It for me, whatever, anything like jail or prison happened to me, that was like, this is a wake up call. This is something I'm going to use as a catalyst for change, because I don't want to be in this position again. So I was never okay even being the type that's drinking and doing what I was doing. You know what I mean? I was never content. I was like,
Mhm.
this is not who I am. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I just
I mean, I've drank and drove, and I'm like horrified by it. The thought of like
same.
just harming another human being, it just horrifies me, and I'm ashamed by it. And I'll never, I just, and the only way I can like fix it is never doing it again. Right.
That's
That
all
I
you can do.
change it. All you can do is go forward.
Yeah, I had a lot of guilt and shame for things that I did under the influence, and for many years. I'd like to think that I worked through it all, but it comes up still in different areas when I least expect it, for different things, and sometimes pretty more substantial in different areas, actually. So
When
yeah.
is the last time I did it? It's been like over 10, 20 years. It's been a long time. I don't do it. I don't. So,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, this is no excuse either, but when I did it, there wasn't Uber. There wasn't really, it was a small town. There wasn't even taxis. It was just stupid. And we all did it. I know so many people, like, I don't like not one of my friends didn't do it. And so, it was a different time. It was a horrible time. And I'm just so glad that I don't have to worry about harming someone in that way ever. So,
I got a DUI, but I was parked, and I was using in my car, so I wasn't. Yeah, but I could have gone somewhere.
yeah.
I would
If
have.
you've ever driven drunk or high, then it could be you, and you
Yeah,
should be
easily.
very grateful that it wasn't you, and show other people that it did happen to grace if they're trying to make their life better. So that's the way I look at it.
It's almost a numbers game, so it's like it can happen to anyone. We always think it's not going to happen to us, but it's like a lot of stuff happened to me that I thought would never happen to me.
And working in the substance abuse, a lot of people it happened like just like blocks away from their home. That's when it mainly did happen. So people thought like, oh, I'm not driving too far, but
Right. Exactly. That's exactly.
So
it's scary.
Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us. I hope maybe you'll come back and we can talk a little bit more about. I love talking about prison reform. I think it's really important. I think our prison system is messed up, and I think that this is one of the topics that I'm passionate about. I like to talk about it, and what we can do to maybe make it better. Because I don't think anybody should be super comfortable in prison, but I don't think they should suffer either. And also people are getting out of prison. Like the vast majority of people are getting out of prison. And so we need to do some kind of reform. Don't you think?
Yeah. And you know what I really think is there's not enough substance abuse or mental health help in the prisons, because I think that would stop reoffenders the most, just in my opinion. Because I don't dig into statistics or anything or know the exact amount, but I know it's a high percentage of the women in there have the issues and they've done their crime under the influence. So that means probably a lot of them have issues, and so I think if they were to, give them an opportunity and have a substance abuse or mental health program in there. And I know a lot of places do, but something that actually helps instead of just punishment, I don't.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
There is a prison in California that's like this new project. I can't think of the name of it, but they have like all these programs, and they live in more like of a dorm type, but it's not like one big open area. It's like you live in like small cabin type situations, and they like create like home situations so that you get used to like not living in an institution, like you're more living in a home setting and
I like that.
jobs. Yeah. And you know, the vast majority when they were interviewing them, everyone was like, oh, this is wonderful. Of course there were a few people who were like, this is sucks, you know. Of course there's people like that in there, but yeah, I don't think we need to degrade our human beings because you're getting out. I mean, how's it going to help you to degrade you in there and expect you to be outstanding citizens out there when you've been degraded and you have all this mental, physical, and not everybody is on the equal playing field. I don't care. Right. Not everyone can pick themselves up by the bootstraps because not everyone was put on the same playing field.
True.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
So is there anything I missed tonight that you wanted to mention?
Not necessarily that I could think of. Yeah, I would love to meet with you again at some point if you want to. And
yeah, I would love that. Let's show them. I saw that you are on X. Which social media platform did you want me to show?
Oh, you can show my YouTube if you want.
YouTube? Okay.
Yeah. But that's my X too. I go on there. You can reach me there anytime.
Okay.
It's L_Villandry, VILLANDRY.
Okay. And then here is her YouTube channel, Life After Addiction. Lindsay.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe to her, guys. It's a great channel. She talks about substance abuse, 12-step programs. There's even a little bit in there about cults. If you're interested in the cult area, I'm really interested in cults. Yeah, cult recovery. So yeah, it's all good stuff, you guys.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for joining.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any questions really quick before I let you go. Great show. Thank you for sharing. Never say it can't happen to me because our worst nightmares can be true. Amen to that. Gosh. Just lots of thanks. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Lindsay, for being here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going to come back.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
I'll talk to you later, Lindsay. Bye.
All right. Good night, everyone.